to verify and to actually send her cease and desist letter. He did that. He did what I paid him for. That was it. That was the end of our agreement. Now, if I want to continue to pursue charges against her, harassment charges, or file a civil lawsuit against her, I can, and I may be doing that. But if I decide to do that, then I will hire an attorney that specializes in harassment, not one that's going to send a cease and desist letter, because this attorney does not specialize in litigation. He specializes in paper pushing, essentially. And so therefore, that is the reason that my attorney no longer represents me. So when she emails him again, he emails her, he informs her that he no longer is representing me in this case, and she needs to discuss it with me directly or with my new attorney. And so this is the truth about what has happened. Now I'm going to go back a little bit. She has claimed so much that is completely untrue. She claims that my attorney dropped me because of her letters, and that because of how horrible person I am, he discovers all of a sudden I'm a horrible individual, and oh my God, how could he possibly represent me? Someone's as bad as I am and horrible, with no police. I mean, come on. Anyway, so she's trying to make everyone believe this lie, first of all, which is a complete lie, which is a pathological liar thing to do. She's also lied about where she lives, and she never, when she did lie about it, she's lied about it on Blog Talk Radio. And she has been caught in the lie. I've proven it to a fact where she lives. I've never given her address out, by the way. I never will. I've never given out her address to anybody. I have the information. It's within my possession, but I would never do that because I have integrity. I cannot say the same thing because she actually sent someone to my house before I sent her the letter through the attorney. And she sent someone into my house and stated that who said they had a package for me from her. And at the time, someone was staying with us and actually had met this guy in the driveway, and the guy said he had a package for me, and our friend said I wasn't around because I wasn't at the time. And anyway, this guy was on video because I have a video camera, because I have video cameras around my house, my driveway, my front yard, backyard, side yard, everything. And so we've seen the guy, and the guy is probably related to her husband or works for him. So, but anyway, the thing is, this woman claims that I'm stalking her, when the reality is I'm not stalking her, she's stalking me. Every single time anything happens, it's because she comes at me. Every single time anything occurs, she is the one who follows me into chat rooms, who follows me to people's shows, who posts on my web pages, who posts on my show pages, who who sends people over to my house in person. And I've never done any of those things. I don't pursue this woman. I don't listen to her show. The only time I hear anything about her is when she herself has said something to someone else that I know, and that person, or said something on her show, whatever, someone else hears it and they tell me about it. That is the only time I hear about anything this woman says. I don't follow her on Twitter. I don't follow her stupid Facebook pages. I don't follow her web pages. I don't listen to her show. So the one that is stalking somebody is Debbie Daly. She is stalking me. And this has been going on for quite a while now, since I'd say close to, 8 months or so. And as a result of this, this is why I had to do what I did, to tell her to cease and desist. And so fortunately, thus far, it seems to be working. And although she still talks about me, she doesn't seem to be trying to harass me the last week or so anyway. Although she does harass me verbally on the air, and I don't really care. But in terms of what she's, coming at me directly, she hasn't posted anything since then. Whatever. So I guess she's learned her lesson. And so as long as things remain that way, things will be fine, and I won't move more forward than I have already. However, if things do not stay peaceful as they are now for me, I will. And I'm not going to talk about her anymore after this, as long as things stay the same, because I don't really care what the woman has to say about me. I am far, far better a person than this person is. She is honestly she honestly is a pathological liar. She has accomplished nothing in her life, and she is a miserable failure at life and as a human being. She is admitted to stealing $44,000 and embezzling money from her employer and getting away with it. She has admitted to doing many, many other things on her show that she said in her own words. And she's not a good person, people. So to believe her is simply foolish. And she will reveal herself to all of you in time. And if you want to believe her, fine. But you will see the true her eventually. Now, she wouldn't have so many quote-unquote haters if there weren't a reason to hate her or to dislike this woman. If she hadn't done anything to all of us, she claims that people hate her for no reason and that people can't give her a reason. There's plenty of reasons all of us can give as to why we can't stand her and why we hate her. I've given you many of my own already, and there's many more where that came from. But the point is that she is a liar. So, how do you spot a pathological liar? Well, there are 7 ways, and we're going to apply these to her because they all apply. Number 1, you've got to understand what a pathological liar is. Basically, a pathological liar is somebody who tells lies habitually, chronically, and compulsively. It has simply become a way of life for that person to make up things for a variety of reasons, and eventually the truth becomes uncomfortable while they kind of weave big lies. Weaving big lies feels right to them. And so it usually starts early on in life as a result to a difficult childhood where when they lie, things turn out better. So they begin to make it a habit. And so that's the first thing, sign. The second sign is, second way to spot a pathological liar is to determine whether the person's details and information comes across as consistent every time they tell a story. So if somebody is constantly telling a story and every once in a while little things change in the story, this small detail changes, this small detail changes, you can compare and contrast both the big and the small details. And from the number of people in the liar story, maybe the actual storyline itself, recall what has changed and how often the details have changed in the story. Keep a tally of the things in your mind that they've said and the people in this story, and recall how often they lie. And pathological liars will lie consistently, which is one thing you can count on. They will lie all of the time. So you kind of have to make a mental note and try to catch them in a lie to catch them. Number 3, you've got to compare stories with friends or people who know them, and the person that you suspect of being a pathological liar to determine if the story has changed or been reshaped to accommodate certain personalities or different people. Number 4, consider whether the person is lying to gain attention. A lot of times the possibilities of lying are because they want sympathy, attention. The pathological liar feels that she, in this case, her problems are paramount to what everybody else is experiencing. And so they're just worse than everybody else's problems. And so she's constantly got to, from a paper cut being to anything else, they, run around telling their story to everyone and anyone who listen, exaggerating the details to ridiculous proportions in order to gain more sympathy from anybody who will listen. Also, when they want to feel important, and the pathological liar will always have to feel superior to you at all times, no matter if it's in the professional arena or personal arena. They could just feel bored, and sometimes they're just bored and they want to spice up their life, and so they make up lies about other people or situations because it spices up the life or increases the drama. Or they're just insecure is another possibility. Low self-esteem is one of the biggest reasons why people become pathological liars, whether they consciously recognize it or not. A pathological liar feels that, she in this case, is not important enough as they are, so that they must make up accomplishments or events to position themselves as worthy. Number 5 of 7, look to whether the person has an addiction or secret habits that are potentially harmful. So pathological lying can arise in tandem with wanting to hide an alcoholic or drug addiction or an obsession with doing something too much, such as spending time online, for example, or gaming, or in relation to a medical condition like bulimia or anorexia. And therapy and group counseling and other things like that, those kind of interventions are important for people like this, but it can help you to better understand why such lying happens if you know about the motivation behind it. So a lot of times there are personality disorders like narcissistic personality disorder, which is the case with her, bipolar disorder, or borderline personality disorder, which might also be a case with her. Number 6, you've got to examine the person's reaction when they're busted in a lie. The worst thing that can happen to a pathological liar is to be busted for telling a lie. One of the main signs is extreme defensiveness. Expect the person to become extremely defensive, doing whatever he or she can to pin the blame on somebody else. Hello. Quickly start fabricating another lie to cover up the original fib. Yes, the pathological liar will start to cover up the cover-up process quickly to ensure that the reputation remains intact. This can include even a bigger lie than the original lie, which can be very obvious. And then also they can be vindictive and may seek revenge if they're caught in a lie. Rage and anger may be another reaction stemming out of being outed, for example. So you've got to expect possible retaliation or vindictive behavior. Another obvious one that applies to her. Alternatively, they can feel like they're upset, like they've been caught in the act by somebody who cares for them, and they can have a tearful meltdown as well. And the last one is to determine if the person lives in reality. The pathological liar is one who can typically not live in reality, has trouble maintaining any consistency in his or her life. So some signs include like wandering from job to job, or not having a steady relationship, or being estranged from their family or their friends. So these are all signs that are ways to spot a pathological liar. And I would say out of those 7 specific examples and ways to spot a pathological liar, at least 6 of the 7 apply to Debbie Daly. So I would love to say that, the difference between this woman and the rest of us who dislike her is that we don't all have to lie about who we are. We are comfortable with who we are. And I don't need to have the approval of some 54-year-old woman who has accomplished nothing in her life, who is a backwoods hick, who hates gay people, who hates black people, who constantly talks about Mexican people, even though her own daughter's half Mexican, in negative light. And I don't need the approval of this person. And so what this person thinks of me is completely irrelevant to me. The only reason that I'm doing this is because there have been consistent lies about me and why, or what my motivations are. And so now you know the truth. And this is the real reason that I have done what I have done. And I have told you everything that I've done. I have no reason to lie about who or what I am, because I like who and what I am, unlike Debbie Daly. So I hope that you've learned something from this show. I hope that you've learned the truth about what's going on. If you want to know more details, feel free to ask me and I'll tell you. But in terms of her specifically on the air, I'm not speaking about her anymore because she's a liar. And I'm sure she'll come out and she'll have some sort of response to this broadcast. And you just have to remember what I've told you about pathological liars and psychopaths. Because the truth is, the woman is both. And I, for one, am done. I'm over her. I'm over the whole complete situation. And if all of you want to hash it out together, and you all want to go to war with her, and she wants to go to war with you, and all this bullshit, you have at it. But my life is far more important to me than some idiot that is on the fucking internet that I have never met, never will meet, and I don't need to spend my time giving a fuck about her because I don't. Good night.